Hey everybody, welcome to the RanchCast. I'm Jason Van Brackle. I'm the Director of Community for Rancher Labs. And for those of you who have done this before, welcome back to the RanchCast. Now, let me mute myself. I'm going to be over here. And that'll be just a little bit obnoxious. So, welcome back to the RanchCast. We've made a few changes. I've added some things with the countdown timer to the stream. And this summer, we're talking about automation. Automation. We want to automate all the things. And let's talk a little bit about why. So here, let me grab my screen. Oops, that's not the screen I want. Five seconds, already technical difficulty. So let's make sure this is working. And there we go, better. All right, so let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about automation. And specifically all summer into the fall, as long as this takes, we're going to automate. And we're going to automate from zero to production. So everything we're going to do, we're going to do production ready. So first things first. We're no longer doing the chat on Twitch or on YouTube or Mixer, only because I'm broadcasting to all three. So if you're watching this recording, we live broadcast now to Twitch, to Mixer, to YouTube, and it's really because corporate firewalls, location will block one or the other. So we keep all three available for the live stream. Recordings will go on YouTube. So let's take a look at each. Let's take a look at each of these. If you want to find us, you can go to Twitch. .tv/the RanchCast, or you can replace that with youtube.com/c/the RanchCast, or you can also go to mixer.com. And I know some of you fans are ones, if you're into gaming, you're probably on Twitch or on Mixer or both. Other people, almost everyone has a YouTube account, has access to YouTube. So check it out. So what are we going to talk about today? If you want to join the conversation, we're on Slack. So our Slack community, if you want to join the Slack community, go to slack.rancher.io. Give us your email address. We promise no spamming you. I'm in charge. One of several people in charge of the Slack workspace. So we don't generally use it for marketing purposes, spam, those things. Really, it's to help you. We have almost 12,000 people registered to our Slack channel now. We see about 273 online now. And once you're in, you go to rancherusers.slack.com. Oh, I haven't logged on this machine. I'm just going to pull my Slack client over and join the RanchCast channel. You can see in the RanchCast channel, I'm just hiding my view because I have other people who I don't want to show the entire world is here. Out here on the RanchCast, we're live. So I'll be paying attention to the RanchCast. I'll be asking for votes in the RanchCast channel, what infrastructure, all of that. So this summer, we're doing this. So if you go to, you look at the list that I put together, it's rancher.com/blog. And if you go back to the Introducing the RanchCast blog, this is what we're talking about this summer. Introducing the RanchCast. So we'll talk about automating all the things, starting with Kubernetes, machine provisioning, Rancher CLI, and we'll work all the way through that list. But that list is not exhaustive. Like I said, we're going from zero to production. So we're going to touch a whole lot of automation, automating how we do alerts, automating how we do monitoring and logging, automating our code pipelines and workflows. And we'll use a bunch of different tools. We may do the same thing in multiple tools because you asked me. I'm a big learner. To get an idea of how I started as a software developer. I was a near-failed comp sci student. I had some really cool people pour themselves into my life. Finished college, went out into the world, and then the .com bust happened. It was the perfect time to leave college, obviously. So I did a bit of business. Professionally, I've touched everything from COBOL all the way up through .NET and even some Go. Well, a little bit of Go. I'm not good at Go yet. So maybe we'll touch on that too this summer. But here's the list of things we want to talk about this summer. So today we're into a little bit of provisioning. We'll go for, I don't know, an hour-ish. And each one of these will be a little bit flexible in time. It'll depend on my schedule. It'll depend on just how much energy I have or the meetings I have and how much coffee I have. Because I'm constantly caffeinated, if you haven't seen. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm also out on Twitter. And I'm either JVB or Jason Van Brackle everywhere. And I'm JVB because there were millions of Jasons born between 1979 and 1983. I'm just one of many. So a couple of jobs ago, somebody said, you know what, you're JVB, and it stuck, and it spread back to the company I worked for. I was doing some consulting, and it's never left. So I'm also JVB at rancher.com. I do check email semi-regularly, but the best way to get a hold of me fast is via Slack. I'm there almost all the time. It's on my phone, and then here on Twitter as well. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweet mostly about things that interest me, like DevOps and Kubernetes and software development. I'm heavy on the C# side because I did that for a lot of years. And unfortunately, I'm also an Orioles fan. I'm a Ravens fan too, and they've had more success, but you'll see a little bit of both. So if you're not interested in the sports stuff, just ignore it or don't follow me. I'm fine either way. Also, if you're in the Philadelphia area, I'm the organizer of Kubernetes Philly. And I would say to all of you, regardless of where you are, go find a meetup or start a meetup. So I started Kubernetes Philly because my former employer, Prenda, was involved in CNCF and involved in Kubernetes, and said, you know what, we're going to help start and support existing CNCF meetups. And I go, okay, I'll go look in the Philly area. And I looked in the Philly area, and there wasn't one. And so my good friend Sean in marketing came to me and said, hey, would you mind starting the Philly meetup? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. He goes, oh, seriously, we'll bootstrap you. You'll have a lot of fun. I think you'll be great at it. I don't know if I'm great at it, but I've been doing it for 3 years now. So if you're in the Philly area, come see me. Hey, if you want to speak, come see me. It's a really friendly place to get started. I got my start in meetups and code camps and things of the like as far as speaking 12 years ago. I was scared to death to do this. And right now, staring into the camera, mildly intimidating. And there's like 4 of you listening. I don't know the exact count. I'm not looking for live information, but there's going to be like 4 of you. So thank you for joining us, and let's get started. So let's start with Kubernetes Rancher and Rancher CLI provisioning. We'll get started with that today. So first things first, we're going to share this journey together. That means we need a source code repository. So github.com/me, spelled correctly. Well, unless you're from the South, the Van Brackle's down there with an LE. I have an interesting story about that. I'll tell sometime. And we'll start a new repo. We'll call it automate all the things. So I'll make sure this gets in the link for the description for the YouTube upload when we're done with it. But this is where we'll work from this summer. Now, we may split into multiple repos. We actually end up building some tools and frameworks because that's what happens, especially when you're working in JavaScript. So we're going to automate all the things. And this is the live code from the RanchCast. The live evolving code from the RanchCast, summer and fall. We are going to go into the fall. We may even go to the winter. This could take a while. 2019. So I'm not set in stone as far as when we do this. So I launched at 9 a.m. because I figured it's when I had the most coffee in me and the most energy, and a combination of users from the East Coast and Europe. I may start more midday U.S. because then I get Europe and more of the United States. I may switch it up from time to time. So when we're live in multiple time zones, because we have Rancher users all over the country and all over the world. So we're public. We'll initialize a README, and we'll just add a get ignore for, we'll just add a random one. I just want one in the repo. Yeah, no, why not? and we'll make this all MIT. Actually, we'll Apache license it. I think Apache is a little safer. I'm not getting into the discussion of licenses. I think that's a discussion for people with more time and brain matter than I have. So we're going to automate all the things. So now you can clone this repo. You can follow along, pull requests. So we're just going to pick an infrastructure provider. The one that you want to do may vary. I'm deep in Azure. I don't like AWS. I'm not a fan of the UX. Love DigitalOcean, especially the price, and a big fan of Linode. So those of you who don't know Linode, and they did not pay me to say any of this. Linode has an office in Philadelphia. They have sponsored Kubernetes Philly, and they actually are really good at their jobs as far as IaaS go, and also inexpensive, much like DigitalOcean. Maybe we'll do a comparison of a provider sometime. This is a neat idea. And automating all the things, and let's clone this. So feel free to start, fork it. I would love some branches for things on other infrastructure providers. I may even pull from some stuff I did initially just to make it interesting. So let's get a terminal window. We'll need one of those. And let's clone. If you need Git and you're in Linux, apt. If you're in Windows, Choco. If you're in a virtual machine, just pick one. I'm on an Ubuntu Linux machine. I think I'm in 18 right now, and that's really just for ease of use. I needed something that worked well with Kubernetes that was not a Mac and that I didn't have to tweak and torture myself over. So while I love Arch, I don't have the time for Arch, and I loved Gentoo. I don't have the time for Gentoo, and I used to use Slackware, but it doesn't have all the tools I want. So like I said, I started my career in Java, Oracle, and Linux. Went to LAMP, and then spent most of 15 years in the Microsoft space, everything from Microsoft Access 97 up through .NET Core. And a lot of my examples now are still .NET Core because I'm just more comfortable there. I can code faster. And because I don't code every day, I just need to be in my more natural language because the brain flip to go over to Go is still a little too heavy. It's not a natural language for me yet. Let's check the socials real quick. Let's see who's out there. Let's see who's out there listening. Got some Twitter likes, and actually I wanted to check Slack. Anybody on Slack? Hey, whatever that just was in the background. Deafen me. Oh, yes. What was in the background? So, I work from home. This is my basement. You're looking into my basement. The kids are upstairs. There's a dog upstairs, a cat upstairs. And probably a set of bowling balls because that sounded like honestly, it sounded like a tool chest falling down the stairs. So I don't know. And I should try all those because it's fast, easy manage. Maybe I will. So P. Michael, thank you for joining me on the RanchCast channel, and we will shout into the wilderness together. So P. Michael, which infrastructure provider should we use? So let's 30-second poll. Which infrastructure provider do we use? The options are Azure, Linode, DigitalOcean, and AWS. And depending on where he's listening, it could be anywhere between 5. Oh, Azure. Wow, that's a surprise. Nobody likes Azure but me. And I even have code for Azure. So yeah, we can do Azure. So for anybody who is listening to the YouTube channel of this, the YouTube recording of this, and you want something besides Azure, hey, go build it. Add a fork for it in the code repo. And share it back with the rest of us. vSphere now Azure. Okay. All right. And yes, I don't have a vSphere machine. We do have vSphere out in our data center, but I don't touch vSphere that often, so it scares me a little bit. No, not really. I've got good friends like my buddy Chris Kim, who is really good at vSphere. So let's talk about what we're going to build. Did I clone this? I didn't clone this. Maybe I did. I did not. So we're going to automate all the things, and I'm going to use VS Code, not because I really don't enjoy the VI versus Emacs debate. I prefer VI personally, but Code is cross-platform. It's pretty, and it has lots of plugins for all the stuff we're going to talk about. I have to make it big enough for everyone to see. So automating all the things. So we need a list. Let's do a to-do list, shall we? I'll do it in Markdown because that renders easily. And so first things first, what are we going to do? To-do list for automate all the things. You can see I already have plugins for Markdown. I'm sure I'm violating the linter. Yes, yeah, so Markdown does have some rules, and there's a linter for code, and it works quite nicely. So thing one, we're going to need some infrastructure. So we're going to need a way of doing, we really need to do etcd nodes. So not a pound. We're doing etcd nodes. We're doing etcd nodes. So we need those. We're going to need to do our master nodes, and we're going to need to do worker nodes. Let's also, you know what? I'm doing a little bit of machine learning as well when I have free time. So let's also do worker nodes with GPU. So, oh, if we're supposed to see the code, it's not working. You can't see VS Code on the screen, P. Michael? All I see is the regularly hits. Oh, did I transition off my face? Thank you for catching that. So, as you can still see, I'm still learning my broadcast material. So, going back to the things that I was broadcasting when I had my face up. So, first and foremost, if you want to follow along this summer, the automate all the things repository, we're going to be there. It's consistent with the blog site, the Kubernetes Rancher CLI. If you'd like to join us on our Slack channel. It's the RanchCast. If you join the RanchCast, slack.rancher.io. Drop your email in there. And if you're listening on the YouTube recording, remember we're also on Mixer and YouTube and Twitch, and it's all the RanchCast. It's whatever you have access to. I have this really cool thing called Restream that I can rebroadcast multiple things to. So you can see here, I can broadcast to multiple at one time and see myself online here, which is a little bit strange sometimes. I actually had the sound on earlier, and it was weird hearing myself. So, back to the code. So I use VS Code. Said I'm a VI person when it comes to Linux, but this is cross-platform compatible for my Windows friends, and it has lots of cool plugins. So we'll need etcd nodes, we'll need master nodes, we'll need worker nodes. Hey, why don't we do a bash in node too? That's a production level thing. Jump box / bash node. We'll also want some flexibility as far as node types. So what else am I missing? What else should we do? Let's see, we got jump box, we got CD nodes, we have all the things we need for Kubernetes. Oh, you know what? We're gonna need some load balancing. So let's put a front end load balancer here. So you know what? Nodes. We'll need some flexibility for node types. All right, we'll also need a front end load balancer. Ooh, that's a good idea. We got automatic deployment and horizontal scaling. Ooh, so horizontal. That's gonna be harder. That will probably come later down the list. So, like I said, I've got an interest in machine learning. Working with a friend of mine who is also a big Rancher fan. Let me grab a website. So, if you're interested in machine learning and Kubernetes together. I just to spell this right. Come join us at neary.io. So the idea is predictive auto scaling for Kubernetes. So we want to be able to essentially use the horizontal parallel autoscaler with rules around machine learning, but also node autoscaling with machine learning. This was a project that Scott, who was with Contour, had, and he had to run AWS and CloudFormation and launched a POC, and it was really pretty awesome. I've played around the code, I've played around with it a little bit, and I say, hey, why don't we try doing this with Kubernetes? And so that's where we're starting. That's a project that's ongoing. If you'd like to join us, hey, it's out on GitHub, github.com/deer. The links are all out there on the site. So horizontal auto scaling, and we'll start there because that'll give us some work for a little while. So we're going to use Terraform, and we're going to use Terraform for a couple of reasons. One, because it's really, really approachable. So for those of you who are not familiar, Terraform is a HashiCorp project. Oops. Terraform.io. And we'll also handle production Terraforms. We'll make this a production-ready system. We'll start with just straight Terraform scripts and the client on our screen, but we'll move up to actually production Terraform and infrastructure as code with Terraform. And we'll try to do this as many things in open source as possible. I want this to be approachable for both enterprise users, but also small startups and dudes and dudettes at card tables in their basement. And not leaving out our non-binary folk. I just tend to think in binary. No offense there. So we're going to write some infrastructure as code. It is a JSON-like language, and it's well documented. So if you're writing an open source project or you work for a company, documentation is product. It seriously is. We spend a lot of time at Rancher doing our own docs in Hugo. I spend some time, messing around with the documentation and blogs and things to try to make the project easier to use. So the same goes for this. We're just going to document as we go. It'll start in a README file. Maybe it's a website. We'll see. So as we go. Now I'll probably go for about an hour this morning, maybe 90 minutes. We'll get as far as we can in an hour. And we'll borrow. That means I can just borrow for some of the code to get us started. So we're going to use, tool 1, we're going to use Terraform. Tool 2, I'm going to use as much Terraform as possible. So those of you who've known me online for a while know I have a bunch of Terraform modules. I will borrow some code from there. But I tried using these in the latest version of Terraform, and some of them just don't work. Oops. So some of these just, no, not JSON America. GitHub.com/me/Terraform modules. Or not. Terraform, you know what? We'll go here, because there's me, and it is one of my most used. Oh, there's a dash, not an underscore. I think I do that once a week. So I drop my useful Terraform modules, and we'll actually start. Let's start with this one. This is my most interesting one. So this is an HA Rancher cluster. So we'll just start with HA. We're not going to go single node because going single node to HA can be painful. If you are in the situation where you need to go single node to HA, friend of mine also happens to work for Rancher Labs. Adrian did a really cool video on that. So let me find that link real quick. Because he too had a production cluster that he had in single node and went to HA and had pain. There it is. And had a bit of a disaster to it. So I'm gonna recommend. Single node is supported. It is production ready. It is single node. It is production ready, but it does have scaling limits. So internally in Rancher, every time you add a node add a cluster that you're going to manage, that's a set of controllers or operators or control loops. We're going to call them Kubernetes. Everything in Rancher is custom resource definitions. So you get a set of those per cluster. So eventually, and single node is only going to scale so far. So we're just going to start with HA. But yeah, do check out Adrian's video. Adrian is awesome. Boy, it's really weird. What are my kids watching? So I share my account with my kids. I never know what's going to pop up on the right in my Twitter feed. I should just hide it. Half the time it's LOL doll unboxing or toy unboxing or whatever latest video game my 11 and 9-year-olds are looking at. That sort of fun stuff. So we'll start here. This stuff does not work well, and we also we have this bootstrap sh file. I want to try to avoid as much shelling because this shelling is complicated. It's not brittle, but it is. But sed and things like sed are not fun to read and regular expressions, and maybe I'm doing them wrong. Who knows? I started my career in Linux, but I'm not a Linux expert. Did some Linux administration back in the early 2000s, but then did do it for 15 years. So I don't think in Linux. I don't think I sort of think in Windows, and I sort of think in Linux, and I sort of think in Raspberry Pi because those are the machines I play with. So we'll start here, and we'll use some of that Terraform because I have things like load balancers, but we'll also use the RKE Terraform provider. So I keep getting asked, hey, if you use the RKE Terraform provider, and the thing is, I've not. So why not now? I've heard really good things about it. So we will actually use this as well. And I want to thank, let's see, primary contributor. I want to make sure I thank the right people. So I want to thank the contributors of this project for the time and energy they put in. Yamamoto has done most of the work here, but I want to thank everybody who's committed because I keep hearing how awesome this thing is. So let's try it out. So we'll use that as well. So let's see, we got Terraform for our infrastructure as code. We'll use this as a base layer because I have some Azure there for different things. And we'll use this Terraform provider for RKE. We're going to use Terraform provider for Rancher. And really, this is just, again, so there are two of those. There's Rancher and there's Rancher 2. We want the Rancher 2. So this was actually really cool. We started this as a project with Terraform. We said, what do we need to get to prod? They walked us through it. HashiCorp is a really cool company. I'll just say that again. JP Toto, if you're watching, you work for really cool people. So we'll get started with that as well. So let's see how we're doing on the chat because I'm only half paying attention to my chat because I don't have any audio cues. So this video cast will change and evolve as I do it. So I'm new to this. I've watched a fair number of these. C# Fritz is awesome. So if you're into C# at all, twitch.tv/ I think it's C# Fritz. He might even be live now. He's live a lot more often than I'm live. He's off right now. But yeah. He's pretty awesome. So, he's been doing this for about 14 months. I read his blog. I know him personally. We go back before his Microsoft days. We both used to do the go to code camps and stand at booths and work with sales teams type of thing. So Jeff, you're awesome. And thanks for the little push. But you, Jeff, Rich Ross, a number of other people in the space who have encouraged me to do this. So. Question from Slack. Wait, if we're talking automation, also the complete automation deployment of Rancher. If you want to get fancy, we can always include SDN in this. Ooh, I like that idea. Like I said, we're going to production here. So we got nodes, we got horizontal scale, we got SDN. And let me grab the original list from the blog post. Did I leave the blog up? I did not leave the blog up. So you can see it. I'll drag it to where you can see it. So the original list, for those of you who don't know, go to rancher.com/blogs. Where's the blog? It's blog. And then scroll down just a little bit because it's no longer the top one. We've introduced the RanchCast, and this is the original list I was going off of. So, if you did get a chance to check it out yesterday, I did a talk on Prometheus, Grafana, and alerting with Rancher. That was a lot of fun. So do check that out. I had a good time doing it. I'll be doing a similar talk for Prometheus Philly as well. So if you were to meet up and need speakers, CNCF has a speakers bureau. I didn't know about this till, I don't know, earlier this year. The speakers bureau, you can request speakers from around the world. Some will travel, some will not. And I'm on here. And I had signed up for it and then sort of forgot about it. We'll do a search. Maybe. Oh, maybe it's a live loading type of thing. Oh, alphabetical. That doesn't help me. I need to go towards the end then. I meant this one. So if you need a speaker for a meetup and you're somewhere in the world, which should be all of you, unless you're on a space station, do check out the Speakers Bureau. I think I'm probably on page 7. Let's go with 7. Yep, should be page 7, just based on the alphabet. ST. Yep, there I am. So, if you go to me, it says I'm under marketing because, yeah, my job is, I'm working with you. I'm in the community. I'm doing dev evangelism, or actually operator evangelism and engineer evangelism. So, yeah, you'll see here my, my job category is sales marketing. This is a marketing position. Seems a little weird to me. It's also very technical. It's very hands-on, very kneecap to kneecap. But yeah, so if you need a speaker and you forget how to contact me, everywhere else you can find me on the Speakers Bureau, along with a lot of really awesome people. Like, you get a chance to get Alex. Alex is also awesome. I believe he has, yeah. So Alex and I worked together at a previous engagement. He works for VMware now, was formerly part of Heptio. Really awesome architect and engineer. Can't speak of him more highly. So if you're, where is he? I can't remember where he is. If he's down, I believe he's down in the Miami area. So if you're in the Florida area, need a speaker in the space, go ask Alex. I shout out to a lot of people I know. And I'd love to do this as a stream where I have other people on, community members who want to join me on the stream, who, can, hit up MS Teams or Zoom or one of those. So we have more than just me talking, because I can listen to myself all day long, but I'm sure I get boring to listen to. So let's copy our original list. Go back into VS Code. And we'll call this a live list. And we'll put the dashes on this because formatting drives me crazy. And you'll see I've covered a few things in here that are outside of your normal, like, these are technology things we think about, but they're really important to production, especially here in the finance space or the healthcare space, or the government space. I've been on all three in my career, in different ways, shapes, and forms, and there is serious compliance issues around InfoSec. So, when I'm talking about things like DevOps, I'm talking about a specific meaning for DevOps. I'm talking about the Phoenix Project, which I will talk about until I'm blue in the face. This book is awesome. It's a narrative, all about a manufacturing company that went from siloed tech debt company that was drowning in their own, drowning their own processes and problems and dysfunction, to a company that was starting to win, with what we now call DevOps. So we'll talk about DevOps, talk about the Phoenix Project, also talk about the DevOps Handbook, which is the how-to manual. So same authors, the Phoenix Project how-to manual. If you're really into this stuff, also check out the Phoenix Project, or it was Beyond the Phoenix Project, which was a set of podcasts after the Phoenix Project, seeing how the origins and evolutions of the Phoenix Project. Get the audiobook, because the Kindle book really is just the transcript of the audio series. So if you have a audiobook account, go get the audiobook. I've listened to it. It's really, really enjoyable. And then if you're in leadership and into process management, the Phoenix Project was an homage book called The Goal, and the author has since passed, but the book lives on. So Eliot Goldratt formalized what's called Theory of Constraints, which really changed how America did business back in the mid '80s. So go read this. This is worth your time. If you're a pretty pictures person, I'll click on the Amazon link because I know the other copy is in here. There's a graphic novel version. I've not read this yet. If you had, tell me if it's any good, because I'm interested in it. So going back to our list. So we'll talk about it. So we'll work off this list. So that's the original blog. We'll edit the live list as we go. So we'll start with the blog list. We'll add in some of our node thinking around here. And front end load balancer. Okay. So we've got our work cut out for us, and we'll have a lot to do here. How are we doing out in the Slacks? Hey, Paul joined us. Good morning, Paul. Automated monitoring would be interesting. Not just about Rancher included monitoring, but Prometheus service discovery to deployment endpoints in clusters. Ooh. So if you did watch the Prometheus, I did do custom metrics for applications. That was all pointed. So we've done two talks on Prometheus Grafana, one on golden signals, which is an SRE term. That was not done by me. It was done by one of our partners at Red App. And then I did the one yesterday. It was more developer focused on custom metrics. But yeah, we'll include that. So automated monitoring. So let's see, resource management. Where is my monitoring? Okay, here we go. So we'll do some automated monitoring. So we want Prometheus service discovery and deployment endpoints. So if you want to know where I keep looking over to my left, I've got the RanchCast Slack channel up. So if you're just joining us now, and even if you're watching the video later, I'm always in this channel. I have this channel active all the time with notifications. So if things come up after, as you're reviewing the video later, or you just have questions about this or have some comments, hey, your video isn't working, you sound terrible. Hey, the bowling ball's upstairs deafened me. Let me know, because I'm going to continue to improve this, make it better. Meet the needs of the community. It's the idea. So yes, join the RanchCast channel. There's 19 of us here. If there's thousands of us, maybe I'll open a Discord. All right. So let's get started with Kubernetes Rancher provisioning, Rancher CLI. So the first thing we're going to need nodes. Now, fortunately, we'll go to our RKE documentation, because remember, documentation is product. Let's walk through and see where we're going. So we're going to use RKE for our Rancher provisioning. Why not Kops? Why not KubeADM? Well, really, the T-shirt, and that thing over there. So one, I like RKE. I've used other provisioning tools before my Rancher days. A friend had a pretty cool one called the Kismatic Enterprise Toolkit. Alex Brand, who I showed the Speaker Bureau, helped write that. So said Alex, awesome engineer architect. So let's talk about RKE. So RKE is Rancher Kubernetes Engine. It is if you're using the Rancher project, it's under the covers in there too. But it also has a CLI variant. And it has lots and lots of really cool features, which you can look at really if you look at the config options. So we can do nodes with our different roles. So I'm going to control play being our master nodes according to Kubernetes documentation, our etcd nodes, and our worker nodes. We're going to separate. So there are kind of two modes of thinking for how we do our control plane. We can either put our control plane and etcd nodes together as nodes. This can reduce our latency, but it makes and also reduce our resource costs instead of together. Or we can separate them out, and that gives us more fault tolerance. Now, I tend personally to lead towards more fault tolerant, but I certainly understand wanting to use on less resource consumption, and I think we'll go that direction for this video series. I'm going to spin up and spin down every week. The idea being that things aren't just sitting out there ready to go. Let's see what else we can do. Let's find out. Let's find a full example, because there's a full example. Cluster YAML here. Example YAMLs. to show off everything this thing can do. So a full cluster. So we're going to do a full cluster example. So we're bashing nodes. We're going to use internal addresses. We'll use a supported Docker version so we just don't get bit. We'll use SSH authentication. Let's see. Maybe we use SSH private keys with passphrase requires auth sock. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll iterate. We'll start with really, really simple and move our way up. Jump box, Bastion hosts. Yeah, let's do a Bastion host too, because I do get asked about that quite regularly about doing Bastion hosts, and I have not done that yet. We'll see if the Terraform provider actually supports that, and we'll go from there. Cluster name, and we can even do custom system images. We have no reason to really do that, but it does work, especially if you're going to use air gap installation. That's a good question. Do we want to do air gap? So, RanchCast listeners, do we want to air gap? We don't have to start with air gap. We can move to air gap. Do we want to air gap? There's the question for you. Need some background music or something. I'll work on that. So right now I'm unmixed. I'm feeding right into my laptop with my headset I use for almost everything. I do want to mix some sound, get some background music in there. Bit unnecessary air gap first. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, if you work for so now I know you don't work for the government because you work for the government. I don't even know where you are. All I know is that I don't know. You look like a cat pillow. So cat pillow with bongos. All right, P. Michael cat pillow with bongos. I'm sure that's an actual cartoon character or something like that. I just don't know because it's just my ignorance. But all right, cat pillow bongos. No air gap today. And maybe we'll tweak. So RKE also gives you the ability to tweak your Kubernetes settings for each of your services. So we can set custom ranges. We probably won't do that, but we may add in some extra args. Okay, maybe we'll add in some open policy agent, things that we need a custom admission controller for. So those of you who aren't aware of admission controllers in Kubernetes, admission controller. So these are specialized controllers. It's an advanced feature of Kubernetes, but an open policy agent, for example, works as an admission controller. Pod security policies work in an admission controller. And they are intercepting code that comes between your client and the Kubernetes API to make sure that Kubernetes behaves in specific ways. Via webhook, via these controllers. Like I said, the one that I think about off the top of my head is pod security policy. That's good limit ranges. So the entire quota system works off of admission controller. So we may just find one that we like. Like I said, Open Policy Agent has one that's really cool, and we may play around with open policies as well. Hey, Miguel, welcome to the RanchCast. Just saw him join the feed. So we'll adjust our command line arguments via RKE accordingly. I stutter occasionally. Makes these fun. And so we'll also we'll make sure that we have RBAC turned on. Cloud providers already been picked. Michael picked Azure, which I'm fine with because everybody does AWS, and Azure is a smaller section of the market. So if one of you want to do a vCenter version or an AWS version as we go and share that code with everyone, by all means. And we'll add some own custom stuff as well. Maybe we'll put our storage provider as part of our add-on. How are we doing on time? We're at 9:43. All right. We'll go for the 15-ish, 20 minutes. And then I'll make sure everybody knows when this ends up on YouTube so you can catch up. So for those of you catching up, if you want to follow along this summer, github.com/me, Jason Van Rackle, /automate all the things. So this is going to be the live thing we'll work on. This will iterate. We'll do I'll make sure that I commit before we finish up each day, or each week. So right now, I mentioned the schedule. We're looking at this weekly, probably on Wednesdays. I may just jump on midday sometime on a Thursday or a Friday and push this along. So if you want to know when we're going to go live, check out the RanchCast channel on our Slack. If you follow me on Twitter, I will also change this so that so you know I'm live. And each one of the various streams also has a subscribe channel where you can get notifications. That your favorite personality, not me, is live. And we can see here. So if you go ahead and click the follow button, and if you're on Mixer or YouTube, there are subscribe buttons as well. It is really strange looking at me. Yeah, that's bizarre. So back to code. So we'll need to get a copy of Terraform. I'm going to open up a terminal window here. Let's make that that's too large. That's also a nice thing. So Control tilde will open a terminal window in VS Code if you're a VS Code person. Again, I'm using VS Code because it runs everywhere and it's pretty and it has cool plugins. And let's see what Terraform version I have. Ooh, that's update. So 0.12.6. We're going to try to keep the most recent version, or at least close to the most recent version of the various tools we're going to use. So let's go download Terraform. And we're going to grab 0.12.6. Now, 0.12.6 was a pretty significant, or 0.12 was a pretty significant upgrade from 0.11 to the point where all those Terraform modules that I highlighted earlier don't work in 0.12. So that's one of the reasons we're starting from scratch. Like, I'll grab some things from from my Terraform modules just for the sake of speed, but by and large they just don't work because because they made this better. Really, they made it better, and there's some breaking changes in there, or maybe they just clarified some things. Breaking changes may be the wrong word. I don't want to be too harsh because this tool is awesome. So I am on a Linux machine. Grab the one that you work on. Oh, hey, I wonder if let's see if there's a snap here. Snap search. Is it Terraform? Oh, but none of them are 112. Okay. I may even be using the snap, but let's just go ahead and download. 64-bit Linux copy. We're going to save that. And downloads. What was that called? Terraform 0.12 Linux. So we're going to unzip Terraform 12.06. See, I probably have multiple copies here, and it's just inflated the one file, not even a directory. So where's my Terraform now? I'm just seeing if it's actually Terraform binary or a link, because I do want to keep the 11 around, and it's the actual binary. So I am just going to very quickly, for the sake of time, we're going to cp Terraform to Terraform.11. Whoops. There we go. And then let's copy the one from our download. So sudo Terraform, and then that should work. See, I have lots and lots of fun tools here. All right, so I now have Terraform. Terraform. We're going to do 0.12.6. Good. So we have Terraform. We're ready to rock with Terraform, and we should make sure if you're in VS Code, there are a bunch of Terraform tools. I'm going to go into my extensions. I already have the Azure Terraform extension, which is excellent. It's in preview, but it works quite well. Is that the only one I have? You can see all the things I work on based on my extensions. And then the Terraform highlighting. This one is also quite good. It's been around quite a while. And then, okay, Git lens, Git project. Maybe I'll play with those at some point. So yeah, go ahead and, like I said, Azure Terraform is excellent. And then this other one over here, Terraform 113.12, from Michael Olenfalk. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that because it's clearly not an American Michael. So go ahead and grab that. So, first things first, we're going to use some Terraform providers. Now, the Rancher Terraform provider, the moment you use, since Rancher Terraform provider is built into Terraform, the moment you start using it, you do a Terraform init, you'll go grab it. I don't know though about that with the other providers, so let's start. Well, first we need nodes anyway, and since we use Azure, we need Azure nodes. So our documentation for this, we'll keep our documentation open in the background for our various tools, because we'll need it. I don't know this stuff back in, off the back of my hand. Terraform.io/docs. And then we're going to open this up and we're going to look. So Terraform, each one of the, Terraform is broken up into providers. So for example, the Rancher 2 provider, we'll have that open. And since we're going to use Azure, we'll do Azure as well. And why don't we automate DNS? I'm going to use Cloudflare. One, because I've used Cloudflare before, and two, because Cloudflare has a free tier. So let's also do some Cloudflare automation. And later, if we want to automate DNS for Kubernetes, that's also doable. So those of you who've been checking out my content for a while know I did something on the external DNS subproject. Helps me say Kubernetes. So there is a Kubernetes external DNS subproject that allows you to actually automate the provisioning of DNS records. So what to create your Class A records for your ingress and services. So we'll actually add that as something we're going to automate because the Rancher provider does support that automation as well in the Rancher 2 provider. At least I think it does, and if it doesn't, we'll be sending in PRs. So we'll do that. We'll also automate DNS in here as well. How we do it? How are we doing out in Slack? I'm going to need some kind of audio. I assume there's plenty of Helm as well. Yes. So question from P. Michael, the cat pillow. We'll be doing Helm as well. Terraform vSphere provider and custom clusters, super easy node spin up. Yep, absolutely. So a lot of my Terraform modules that are already out there do just that. They'll create custom clusters. We're going to use as many providers as possible to just reduce the amount of scripting we're doing. And one, because really, I just want to try it. I haven't had a chance to work, like, for example, with the RKE Terraform provider that everyone keeps asking me, hey, have you used the RKE Terraform provider? So we're going to do that. And hey, Race, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. So if you're out on Slack, you'll see P. Michael and Race at FPV quite a bit, helping out other members of the community. Thank you all. Seriously, thank you all for your help. Because there's only one of me, and I'm doing things like this and I presented yesterday. I'm presenting this evening and preparing to present. Oh, that will be live tonight. So quick shout out to, like I said, I'm in the Philadelphia area. Let's just drag that over. So I'm in the Philadelphia area. Philly.net is doing a hands-on tonight, and I'm going to try to make it hands-on so it works for the video as well. So if you go to meetup.com/Philly.net, maybe find out, cross fingers. Hey, oh, not the one work for, but I'm signed in. So I'll be doing a hands-on with Docker. I've developed some content that it's basically we type together on the screen, much like we're doing now, but with a classroom full of people at Microsoft in Malvern, Pennsylvania, but also online because they broadcast at, where is it? Philly.net. So they also broadcast live, I believe, to multiple platforms as well because Rich Ross, who runs that part of it, who works for Microsoft, help set up their automation and help me set up this. So definitely, yeah, twitch.tv and mixer.com and youtube.com, philly.net. So that will be tonight. We'll be doing that. Shout out to them. Go check them out online too. Yeah, Rich is an absolute rock star with this stuff, along with Jeff Fritz, who really helped me out getting what you see now set up. Like, for example, I'm using a real camera. It's a little weird. I'll have to put a camera on my desk sometimes so you can see my camera. So to give you an idea of like one of the things that we did between when we started and now is here. I'll switch laptop camera only. We'll just transition that really quick. This was the camera I originally had attached to my laptop, and then we'll do the new one, and that's the camera I'm using now. It's a little bit darker, higher frame rate. It's actually a Sony Nex 3N. It was just one I had it's one that I had. I take most of my pictures on my phone, but it's a fairly nice one with the adjustable lenses and the like. So we made I made some tech changes. Rich, thank you for your help there, and for Jeff Fritz for streaming and actually sending links for things like that. So we have Terraform. We're gonna need some providers. Now, the Azure provider we have, we'll need the RKE provider. Now, I did not see, I don't think I saw that provider on the list. So we go back into docs and we open providers up. I don't think I saw the RKE provider here, so it is not an official provider. So official providers will have to include, and hopefully Yamamoto document his, wait a second, we got here. We got this one, and we got this one. So what's the difference? Well, this one was 21 days ago. Oh, am I looking at the same thing? Just two different links? Yeah, I think I am. Oh, one's a README, one's a talk. Good. Just making sure I wasn't confusing myself too badly. So we're using Terraform provider RKE. Brand coffee. Oh, good. We're going to install, includes v12, and we'll add perfect. So those of you who navigate GitHub regularly already know about the releases tab. They're not always up here, but most have a project / releases, and we're going to grab 0113, 20 days old. So you can see this thing is in active development quite constantly, and of course grab the one for your architecture. Grab Linux ARM. No, not ARM. AMD64. If you're on Windows, grab the Windows one. Oops, I wanted that page. All right, I've got too many pages open, I'm getting lost. Okay, so we downloaded that, and to install that, download it, add the Terraform provider RKE binary in the in your user directory Terraform D plugin. So we'll do that now. And we want the, let's see. So what was that called? Terraform provider RKE zip. That's right, I want to see what the zip was. Unzip. And then we'll do a unzip. No, not the RanchCast. Terraform provider. All right. Unzip that. We inflate the binary, and we're going to copy the Terraform provider RKE, and we're going to copy that into /. I don't have a Terraform D. Oh, .terraform D. Did I just rename that when I copied it? Terraform D, plugins. I did do that. That's pretty funny. All right. So we'll just rename it. No, not as HTML. All right. There, better. So we now have the Terraform provider. So one note about this directory. This directory is Terraform D plugins directory. Oh, I'll need to put it in a plugins directory. It say plugins, right? Yeah, it say plugins. So, a note about this plugins directory. For anybody developing Terraform plugins or thinking about developing or using a plugin that's not quite ready for prime time. So the Terraform 2 plugin, for example, the Rancher 2 plugin for provider for Terraform was originally an open source project that had to be installed this way. When the official one came out, I had problems because I forgot to remove the developer copy sitting in our plugins directory. So know that if this thing ever gets, in the HashiCorp Terraform page as a provider, we'll need to remove it from here. But I've made that mistake, and so you don't get by the same mistake. Don't do that as well. And let's see how we're doing now on Slack. Rancher Rodeo says on the 8, is that different? Yes, the Rancher Rodeo is different. So yeah, somebody at Race FPV asked, the Rancher Rodeo says the 8, is it different? Yes, I'm speaking at something else. So I was talking about the Philly.net meetup. Yes, the Rancher Rodeo is the 8th. What was the So one component I'm not sure is how I would, or would it not? Yeah, so we'll tackle horizontal node all skill when we get there. That may not tie into Terraform. We'll figure that out. That's interesting. But at least for now, we'll at least get bootstrapped with what we have and figure out the automation later. See, I've switched to water because I'm out of coffee. I need a bigger coffee cup. So now we're ready to go. But we're not ready for the RKE piece yet. We're gonna do our Azure provider for Azure. Let's see, we've hit 10 o'clock. I'll go for like another 15 minutes just so we actually get some stuff done today. So that's downloading and authenticating. So we're going to use a service principal. Or do we use Azure CLI? Let's actually do this in a production-ready way. Now, I've not done the service principal on client certificate or client secret. Let's do that one, because that one seems to be approachable. You know what? So something else we'll have to tackle. We'll have to tackle secrets management. So give me, camera's right here. Give me your opinions on secrets management. Should we do Vault? Should we do Azure KVM? I'm up for a lot of them. I'm partial to Vault because it works on-prem and in the cloud, but I'm not married to it. So give me some ideas for secrets management, key value management. So the idea is we're poking at both the enterprise and the open source user. So preferably things that are available either to already on Azure because we're using Azure IaaS, or available to enterprise users via open source, maybe even with enterprise support options, like this thing, for example, which is completely free as an Apache, but also has enterprise support options. So we're going to covered in this guide. Look at that. So we're going to create a service principal. So those of you who have not ever done this before, now I'm going to hide the service principal after it gets created, so that I'm not showing that to all of you. So we're going to first so go grab the Azure CLI. There are lots of ways to do this. I believe there's a snap for it. Let's just go see the latest way of doing this. So P. Michael just said, trying out the Kate's extension for VS Code, and it is pretty sweet. And yes, it is pretty sweet. Because that's why I use VS Code. It has really cool extensions. So installing the Azure CLI, we're going to use that because we're going to automate some of this stuff with the Azure CLI as well. Grab the one that you want. If you're on Windows, I'm really excited about Windows Subsystem for Linux. I'll put it that way, especially the WSL2. Going to be awesome. So yeah, and so somebody asked about the Rancher Rodeo. So rancher.com/rodeos. Rancher Rodeos, sorry, 404. Rancher Rodeos are 101 classes that are live on site, not broadcast online. We actually get to interact with one of our field engineers or myself. So I'm a former field engineer. I still do these as part of my job because I like being out in the community. I try to also hit up either a conference or a meetup when I'm in town. So, for example, when I get asked to speak at a conference that's not here in Philly, I'll actually set up a Rancher Rodeo the same week in that town to make use of the travel, but also to see as many of you as possible. So if you want to see a rodeo near you, if you're in the Philly area, rodeos, what's today? Today is, today's 7th. So tonight, I'll be speaking at the Philly.net meetup. Tomorrow, live at the Philadelphia Rodeo. Feel free to register. I'm not sure how we're doing on count. I haven't checked that out yet. But we have lots and lots and lots of them coming up. I'll be at a few of these as well. Other field engineers who are awesome will also be at these. And they're all around the world. And there's my really cruddy Tinder picture. Just kidding. I'm actually married, not on Tinder. I have friends who do that. Dating in the modern world must be hard. Glad I'm not doing it. All right. So Debian Ubuntu. I've already got this, but it will generally involve either using Bash or using Snap or using apt-get. I'm using, but I have it already. So first things first, AZ login. Now I'm going to log in using my Rancher account for all the Ranchery goodness. I have my own personal account as well. When you do a lot of .NET development for big companies, they buy MSDN for you. Some of them even forget every year to cancel your subscription. I've had 2 MSDN accounts for years, and every year, hey, you're still paying for my MSDN, and they're big enough that it's harder to figure out how to cancel that than to just keep paying for it. It's probably part of a package because Microsoft loves keeping you in. So, Rancher Lab shared, my tenant, all my different IDs, and so we're going to create. We could slim this down. I'm not going to worry about slimming this down. We'll do a slimmed down version later. I'll make a note of that. So we'll talk about least privilege. Least privilege for automation. So we've logged in AZ. So we're going to AZ. We're going to use the Active Directory, not to be confused with the Active Directory Exchange. And then we're going to use the SP command. So AZ, AD, SP, and there are lots of stuff in here too. Specifically, we want to create a service principal, but we're going to create a service principal that can talk to Azure resources. So we're creating it for RBAC, AZ, AD, SP, create for RBAC. And let's just look at help here. Let's learn as we go. And so we're going to create, interesting. May have to check this out further down the line. Use the key vault for vaulting. I kind of like the idea. The Azure AD is an OIDC compliant implementation. So OIDC being kind of the next generation of OAuth 2. It's OpenID Connect. So everything is controlled via scopes. So basically OAuth scopes. And then we have this role of contributor, and we need contributor so we can talk to the Azure APIs, so we can create nodes, create load balancers, and do things of that nature. Now, we should probably create a resource group and scope it to the resource group. Let's do that. Let's actually do that. So let's create a resource group, AD group, and we'll do a help here because I think it's create, and it is create. Actually, we could do this. Yeah. I wonder if does the Azure provider do a service principal? She did a service principal to the Azure provider. Let's just create the service principal this way. So let's restrict it to a group. Do we want to restrict it? Yeah, we'll do least privilege. So we'll create, and we'll need to tell it which group we're creating. What else do we need to know about group? Anything? We need a location. So I'm in the Eastern United States. I'm going to use ECUS or ECUS2. And we'll give it a name. And we'll tag it with the RanchCast. So AZ, AD, group, create, ECUS2, the RanchCast. call yours whatever you'd like. Actually, we'll call it automate all the things. I don't know what our space requirements are here. Oops, what did I do wrong? What are required? Oh, not AD group. And we're going to automate all the things. Now, we're going to need that resource group ID. Now, maybe we'll also automate that with it. So this will be the first thing we create. We'll need a script for bootstrapping, because the idea is that each week when we do this, we start at 0, we use the scripts we created to boot up where we were, and go from there. And I may do that before I go live, because that'll eventually get time consuming. So, how, exclamation point. And even before we save this, we can tell it what it is. Oh, what is it? Is it bash? That's script. It's a script. Shell script. That's what I want. So until it's a shell script, and we're going to create our AD group for a least privilege service account, service principal, and we're going to grab that group. And we'll actually use the output for this. Oops. So this spits out JSON. It could spit out other things. It could accept an output command, but JSON's actually really nice for working with this stuff. So since we're going to create a new one every week, and we don't know what its ID is going to be, we're going to save it in here. And we're going to call this our service principal. Call our automation, well, Terraform. Or no, not our service, it's our group. Let's see, this is our, we'll call it we'll call it our resource group. So now we'll have that, and we'll have that as JSON. And then we're going to take that, so I'm going to use JQ. I could be really crazy and use PowerShell. I actually have PowerShell installed here, and PowerShell manipulates JSON really, really well. But I understand my audience, you are Linux people, and PowerShell is icky. So we'll exit out of PowerShell, and we'll stick to Bash, so we'll JQ this stuff. So I'm actually going to remove that group and recreate it, so we'll create the script as we go. So we're going to need that ID. Oops. So I'm going to to AC group delete. And get the /LECUS2 and /n gp automate all things. Oh, it's not delete. Unrecognized argument. Oops, not n. Oh, subscription and name. So that's the one thing that does annoy me with the Azure CLI, is that we're not always consistent. I'm going to need that subscription ID, which is here. It does make sense, though, because the URL is the combination of a subscription and a resource group. Can do a -s. No, I can't. You guys do a -- subscription. And if it does, it's not in the help. Let's try it now. Yes, we definitely do. So we're going to delete that resource group. Oh, I should have said no wait. You can do it no wait. Oh well. No, it's an empty resource group. It shouldn't take long to delete. Let's see how we're doing that on Slack. So, P. Michael. Oh. So we had 2 people join us today. Thanks for joining us. Sayam and Eliseo. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. So yeah, I'm really excited about the VSL2. Right now I'm running on a Linux machine and a Windows machine. So all my OBS stuff, Open Broadcasting System, is on my Windows machine because it's easier to do there. The hardware works better. I work day to day from a Linux machine. it will eventually go back to being a Windows machine with WSL2 as that tends to harden up a bit each day. Yeah, I do a lot of PowerShell scripting. I've done classes on Tester. I'm a big PowerShell fan, but I understand the audience. So AZ, we're just going to do the script as we go. We're going to JQ a lot of this stuff. We'll put the resource group in there. And if we echo our resource group, because we're going to need a lot of that information. So JQ, for those who are not familiar, you probably already have it installed. Most Linux distributions have installed. There's a version of it for Windows. It's a JSON processor. So I like doing PowerShell JSON. I think it's easier, but JQ is the next best thing. Now, I'm not great at JQ, and you can go get it from apt. You can apt install JQ or apt search. You can Yum that if you're on Yum, or Choco if you're on Windows. But go grab JQ. Really awesome for that. So we're going to take that. We're going to take our resource group, and we're going to feed it into JQ. We're going to start with dot. Command not found. What did I do wrong? Oh. Echo. There we go. All right. So, and you can see JQ makes it look pretty and formats it with nice colors. You do no color. If for some reason the colors screw up your scripts, they generally don't. But so if I want to select ID, ID. So now I have my ID string, which means I can actually scope the service we're going to create. So we want to least primitive scope. We're going to AZ, AD, SP. Like I said, I stutter occasionally. If I get really bad, I'll just, pinch myself or hold my breath or change my voice a little bit to stop from doing it, and then continue. And we'll create for RBAC. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a full OIDC implementation. So it uses OAuth scopes to actually set what is allowed. If you don't put any scopes on it, it basically creates it's a contributor for all the resource groups for that subscription. It's attached to the subscription. So we don't want something quite that powerful. We're going to limit it to the resource group we created. So we'll do an AZ, AD, SP, create for RBAC. And we'll do a -n. And we'll give it a nice name like the RanchCast. Or automate all the things. We'll give it a role contributor. Maybe we'll dive into AD. I'll make a note of that. At some point, we'll dive into AD roles and least privilege. So maybe we don't need everything from contributor. So I'm a big fan of least privilege because I've been bitten by it before. I worked for an ISP back in the day, where I worked back before the software developer. I did customer support and billing, and one morning my billing line was flooded with 55 messages because a grammar school in the UK got broken into, and they used the library's computers to DDoS the Delmarva Peninsula. For those who don't know what the Delmarva Peninsula is a peninsula in the United States off the Atlantic Ocean that is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Delmarva. So the entire Delmarva Peninsula had no internet because grammar school and security problems. So role contributor, and we're going to scope this to our resource group. So we're going to scope, and we're going to use the scope for echo resource groups. What did I call it? I called it resource group. Good. And then we pipe that into JQ.ID. Hopefully that works. So first things first is all of your AD applications get created with an HTTP.name. It doesn't have to be an actual website. I don't know why it does that. It's probably an OAuth thing. Oh, what did I do? Request to not have a subscription for a valid tenant level resource provider. I have no idea what that means. I must have did something wrong. Well, let's actually take a look at what I created. So if you want to know where this ends up, Go into the Azure portal. And this is up in Azure Active Directory. Again, not to be confused with Exchange. You may not have an an Azure Active Directory icon. This is what it looks like. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. I need to go in the Rancher one. Hopefully I have access to see the Rancher one. We'll see in a second. And, so yeah, you probably don't. It's not in my here. Let's see, what did I call that thing? I called it RanchCast. No result. Looking to see if it finds the resource. Okay. Azure AD. Resource. Azure Active. There we go. Azure Active Directory. And I want app registrations. This is considered an app registration. And I've got a few of these actually that I should. Oh, my RanchCast one was created. Welcome to app registrations, call APIs. Do I? So I don't spend a lot of time in here to see what it does. Roles and then. Well, we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, it just means I did it wrong. Now, no, I definitely did it wrong because I didn't get any output. And I need output. So let's just see what this did. Oh. Whoops. Y'all are supposed to be watching for my dumb mistakes. This is what I wanted. No. No. This is what I wanted. Right? Yeah. So again, this is where my Linux knowledge tends to bite me in the bottom occasionally, and it does. All right. So AD, AC, AD, SP, delete, name, and because we need the proper name, actually I think it's ID. We'll find out when I do it wrong. Dash dash ID. How are we doing out there? We're good out. We're good on the RanchCast channel. So we'll go for about we'll get the service principal created, and then we'll stop for the day, and we'll pick up with Azure nodes either later this week or at the latest this time next week. So I want to echo that. Good. And then going to. So you all check my bash scripting prowess because I'm sure I'm doing this wrong in some way, shape, or form. I'm hoping that works, right? Echo. Yeah. Did I do it right? Let's find out. Oh, I didn't do it right again. So this is what I said. This is where my thinking in PowerShell sometimes bites me in the buttocks. And let's try this one other way. Will that work? Nope, still not working. All right, I could do this all day. I'm just go ahead and create it by hand. Off screen so you don't see it. I'll figure out the script later and make sure that gets uploaded before next week. Because I know it's something stupid, and it's just because I'm on camera live that it's just not coming to me. So, AD, then this is off screen. Create for RBAC. And what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to copy this ID, and this is what I want it to do. So we'll echo a resource group, and we'll JQ.ID because that's what I'll need. I'm just going to copy this for now. I will figure out my mistake later. AC, AD, SP, create for RBAC, name, the RanchCast, and then scopes, because we want to restrict to just this resource group. So I'm going to do this off camera because it's going to expose a password, and I want to show that off. So there. And it will default to contributor if you don't give it. Actually, it may not have default to contributor, so I'm going to actually recreate it to make sure that I force contributor, just because I'm a little paranoid and only want to do it once. I believe the default is contributor, but let's be explicit when we're talking about what we're doing. So, role contributor, dash role contributor, and then that will create that. I'm going to move that off screen because it will show off a password. I deleted the one that was on screen there, so now we're exposing the one that I already deleted. Good. Create role assignments now. So it didn't do that last time, which meant I would not have contributor roles, which means I would have done this and nothing would have worked. And I've been like, okay, what did I do wrong? So you now have an app ID, a display name, a name, a password, and a tenant. We're going to use this service principal to authenticate with the Azure provider. You can see here. Oh, you may have to set a different cloud. I'm on the Azure public cloud. I didn't do all this because I'd already done all this. You may have had to do this as well, but you do need a contributor, and we did. Oh, you can also scope this to subscription. And then this was the important thing I wanted to get to. The app ID is a client ID, the password is client secret, and the tenant is tenant ID. Documentation varies for all these things because they're different between like the Kubernetes providers. Just know that they always usually map in this direction. And we can log in with the service principal. We could do different things, but that's what we do. We have to create a service principal because we'll need that for the Azure provider. So we're going to use there is an Azure Active Directory provider. Look at that. So we could use the Azure Active Directory provider to create a service principal scope specific to the deployment, and then remove that. You know what? We'll try that sometime. Put that in my notes. So. It's really these privileges. Use the Azure AD provider to create temporary automation users for Terraform. So that way, we store. Let's say we store our, we create the service principal on the fly. We save whatever log we need to start the automation off. In a really secure vault, create temporary users, do the work we need to do, and then be done. And we'll start with the Azure provider, where we are already authenticated in. So we're just going to do Azure provider. So we will need to do a Terraform. So we have this is our bootstrapping script. We're going to save this as our RanchCast. So it's our bootstrap script, because we'll need that to log into Terraform each week. And I'll make some modifications here in between classes to follow the repo. Because, like, for example, to clean up the thing I just couldn't figure out. And then we're going to need one to actually automate all the things. That's what we'll call it. We'll just call it automate.sh for now. Maybe we'll change the name later. Said I'm doing this on the fly. So we want to log in to Azure with the Service Principal. And we'll use them as we'll be able to do them as environment variables. So you can even do this from a container. So we'll use our documentation here with our clients, with our client secrets. What, so we want to keep this AC login. So what I'll do is I'll make sure these are environment variables. That way we can do all this in a container. It'll be fun. So AZ login, service principal, client ID, secret ID, tenant ID, and this all came in. So we can actually use the service principal. You know what? We'll just do this in one script. So we'll create our service principal, then we'll log in this way. I'm going to fill in, we're going to create our service principal connected to that resource group. For scoped to the resource group. And then we'll log in with the Azure Service Principal. And this is where we'll stop for the day. So why did I say episode 4? Because I already did episode 1 and 2. So if you want to watch this later, review what we did, 2 places you're going to want to go. So the code, and actually I'll make sure that we commit this before we go. Let's do that real quick. I'll fix some things up before episode 4. Like I said, at the latest, it'll be this time next week. I may decide to do it earlier. Let's get this git first. So git status, git add star, end episode 3. So everything we've done today, so I know some of you joined us late, is up in this GitHub repository. So if you go to github.com/me, Jason Van Brackle, I have this brand new one that we just created called Automate All the Things. So this is what we're going to be working from all summer into the fall, maybe even into the winter. The idea is we're going from 0 to production, and that will include both concerns of both. That will concern operations. That will concern software developers. That will concern InfoSec people and business people. All the things that all of those groups care about. True DevOps, we're going to cover in this repo. So check out the repo. If I decide to broadcast this some other time, twitter.com/again, me, Jason Van Brackle. When I go live, I'm going to tweet out that I'm going to go live in an hour or 2 hours, sometime later today. Stay tuned. I will change my name so you can see where I'm live. And if you subscribe to one or all of these, go to twitch.tv/RanchCast. You may be watching there now. Go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Or if for some reason Twitch is blocked by your firewall, we're also on Mixer. Mixer might also be blocked by your firewall. It's a gaming community, much like Twitch is. And then on top of that, youtube.com/c/theranchcast. You can see here right now I'm live. That's kind of interesting. But subscribe here when I go live. I think they'll also send you notifications. All the videos. So this video today, it's going to record it and upload it here. I'm actually going to start. I'm going to. Oh, look at that! It auto does it. I'm going to have to change the name of it. But this will be uploaded here. Also, once it's done, I'll create a channel for Automate All the Things episodes. So the episode will be there. The links that we talked about for installing, the GitHub repos. By all means, it'll be in the comments. By all means, in between, get used to it. If you want to, or you go ahead and grab it. If you want to interact in between, oh yes, yes, I am. Good, good, yeah, good call. So the links will also be posted if you go to Rancher, or sorry, slack.rancher.io and sign up for a Slack account. It's for the Rancher user Slack. The RanchCast channel, all the links will be posted, the YouTube posts, the tools that we're using for all of this, and comments, questions. Hey, this was really weird. Or hey, let's think about doing this. This is a community-driven exercise. This is for all of us. So, and yes, we're going to touch some Rancher projects and some Ranchery things, but I want the DevOps community as a whole. I want the Kubernetes community as a whole, because it isn't just about Rancher. I happen to get paid by Rancher Labs. I love the Rancher project, but it's not the only project we're using. We spent all day talking about HashiCorp's Terraform project. So the idea is that we do a production ready thing, and we'll learn together. So thank you all for your time today, and I'll see you in the next broadcast.